What is up, guys? Today I'm going to be talking about whether or not I think Tower of Fantasy can compete with Genshin Impact, and yeah, so let's get to it. So the reason why I'm comparing the two games is that I think the games kind of have that similar look to them, and I think a lot of Genshin players are interested in Tower of Fantasy, so with that being said, that's why I decided to kind of compare the two. Now, I really do think Tower of Fantasy has to do really good to compete with Genshin, because obviously Genshin's a really good game, very successful, so it'd have to do a lot of things very well in order to even have a chance at competing with Genshin. Now, the one problem Genshin does have is that it releases content extremely slow, or at least in my opinion, it's really slow, and that has a lot of players losing interest in the game. Now, obviously, I'm not at the end game part of the Genshin. I obviously still have quests and stuff to do in Genshin. I'm nowhere near being at the part where you're just end game and just grinding for artifacts and stuff. But I know a lot of people are, and they're losing interest in the game because they don't really have anything to do other than their daily resin grinding, which probably takes them if their account is super OP, it probably takes them like 5 minutes to do. And let's just say 30 minutes to be generous. So that's like you're playing the game daily for 30 minutes, and that's pretty much it. If you've already completed all the story, you've explored the world, so you're only playing the game for like 30 minutes. And even if you're not at that part of the game and you're not at that level of the game yet, sometimes you're just burnt out of the game and you just don't really feel like playing the story, or you don't feel like playing something in the game. And yeah, so you just like experience some like burnt out of the game. And I really think that Tower of Fantasy will have a little bit of an edge over Genshin because it's an MMORPG. And most MMORPGs that I've played have a lot to do in the game. It's hard to be bored in those games because they just have so much to do. And I really think that Tower of Fantasy might have the edge over Genshin in that. And then even if there's PvP, I think that would bring a whole nother level to Tower of Fantasy in terms of having stuff to do in the game. And I'm not saying Tower of Fantasy is going to be better than Genshin, or it's going to be, or it's even going to compete with Genshin. I really want it to kind of make Genshin like kind of forced to release content more often, or even just other games in general. It doesn't have to be Tower of Fantasy. I just like Genshin to kind of have competition, to have to release content sooner. And I don't want them to rush it, obviously, because you don't want a rushed product and it just isn't good. But it would be nice if they just don't move at a snail's pace, because I really think it's hurting the game at this point. And maybe they don't want to release content that often, and maybe they're completely okay with Genshin just being that game where you play for like 20 minutes a day and then you just go play Elden Ring or play whatever other game you want to play. And I know a lot of people who do play Genshin would not be okay with that. And the point of this video isn't to just like diss Genshin all over the place or anything. It's more about Tower of Fantasy. I really just want it to be a good game, and I'd like to see competition. I'm obviously gonna still play both. If Tower of Fantasy is really good, I'm still gonna play Genshin. How good a Tower of Fantasy is not gonna affect how much I play Genshin. I'm still gonna play Genshin. I think with Tower of Fantasy being an MMORPG is gonna have a lot of what Genshin is missing. And for that, a lot of Genshin players will go play Tower of Fantasy and maybe play both. That would be really good. You can still play both games. Yeah, I think with it being MMORPG, it's going to have a lot of what Genshin players are looking for Genshin to have. Not necessarily the MMO part, maybe a PvP. Some sort of like competition or like something to get ranked and get rewards and stuff like that. I know it has a Spiral Abyss and all that. I'm not saying Tower of Fantasy is going to have all this stuff, but I think there's a good possibility it does. And even if it doesn't, you're going to have a great opportunity to play with other players online. Yeah, I'd love to see Tower of Fantasy succeed so well, and it's just a perfect blend to play along with Genshin Impact. Yeah, that is my ideal. I hope this game is really good, and it's just a perfect blend with Genshin to be able to play both, even if Genshin keeps up with their snail pace at releasing their content. Or maybe with all the good games releasing this year, Genshin will feel the need to release content at a more frequent pace, which would be a win-win for everyone. And yeah, so that's basically all I have to say for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like, it helps me out a ton. And don't forget to subscribe for more Tower of Fantasy content and Genshin Impact content. And I'll see you guys next time.